Yes, after going through the basic quantities, basic types of quantities of physics, that is the scalar and the vector, let us discuss about distance and displacement. So here also there is a variety. One is scalar quantity and one is vector quantity. Now you have to identify in which we are saying that one is scalar and for which one we are saying that one is vector quantity. Okay, so now distance is a complete path or the original path, we can say, from one point to another point. Let me tell you one example, that is a circle is here, a circular park is here, and in this circular park, okay, so if A is your friend and B is you, okay, if you want to meet your friend, so you have to cover the whole portion, whole park, okay, there is no in midway here, okay, and some construction work is going on here, so you can go from here to meet your friend. So this is the original path, right? Okay, in second case, you can see that again A point is here and B point is here. So for traveling from one point to the another point, you have to travel the whole distance. And one more example, see, any kind of shape is here and the path is the only one, this rest of the place is filled with water. So you have to travel from here to here to here. So this all particular distance, full original distance, is known as distance actually. Okay, there is no kind of displacement in here. So what is displacement then? If we have seen that this is distance, then what we can say about displacement? Displacement is the shortest path covered mainly in a straight line between the initial and the final position. Yes, of course. So in the first case, as you have seen, one friend has to go like this. लेकिन अगर वो बहुत ही best friend है आपका, तो you can even cross directly from one point to another point and you can move in a straight line. That is the shortest path. Yes, of course, that is the shortest path because none of the distance can be a shortest path if it is not a straight line. So moving in a straight line mainly can tell you about the displacement. So here a direction is also considered, right? Yes, from the initial position to the final position. In the same manner, in second diagram, you can see that A and B can be linked together and directly we can move from here to here. So again, this is displacement, the shortest path, and in third case also, connecting the initial and the final position is again known as the shortest path. So, believing me that shortest path from one position to another position is displacement and covering the whole original path is known as the distance. So, there is a difference box between the distance and the displacement. Let us discuss that also. First is the length of actual path is considered to be in the distance portion and another one is displacement, that is the shortest length between the initial and the final position. Second one is distance is of course a scalar quantity, no direction talks is there, only simple magnitude. But in case of displacement, vector quantity is known as is introduced here because displacement gives you direction. Okay, third point, it remains positive. Okay, if there is no talks about direction, then we can say that it can be start from 0 and going to be in increased direction only because no direction is considered in case of distance. If someone is considering traveling from one point to another point, comparing to the original path, completing the original path, so we cannot say that he has traveled -5 kilometers. Nobody can say that because it is only traveling in one direction, but we are not talking about that direction. Okay, अगर आप कोई direction के बारे में बात ही नहीं कर रहे हो तो हर direction ही आपके लिए positive होगा. That is why it remains always positive and it cannot be 0 or negative. Okay, but in case of displacement, it can be positive, it can be negative and it can be 0 also. How? Okay, if a person is traveling from one position and it is going in this direction, let's suppose, okay, so this is right direction, this is right hand side, okay, now again it is covering the direction in the left part and let's suppose this is 10 meter and this is 5 meter. So how much is the displacement that the person has been covered? So we have told you that in the first point, that is displacement is the shortest length between the initial and the final point. So it is the initial point and it is the final point, not this one. This is the final point. So 10 if considered as plus positive direction, so this one will be considered as negative direction, because here displacement is a vector quantity, you know people, and if this direction is considered to be as positive, then this has to be considered in negative. You can take this one as negative and this one is as positive because direction is changing, but you have to take some direction. Okay, fourth point is distance can be equal to displacement. If a boy is traveling only in a straight line like this from the here to here, let's suppose, so distance will be this only and displacement will be this only. Okay, but displacement can be equal to the distance or can be the lesser than the distance. It cannot be more than distance anytime, because you know this is the shortest path that has been covered from the initial position to the final position. So displacement can be lesser than distance or equal to, because the distance in the straight path can be measured only at 1. So it can be considered as distance or it can be considered as displacement. But if someone is walking in a semicircular path, okay, so distance for it is like this and displacement will be this only.